Welcome to DataUnlocker setup tutorial. This short video is focused on the setup process only. For any additional information, visit DataUnlocker.com or read more about it at dataunlocker.com/FAQ. For demonstration purposes, I'm going to set DataUnlocker up for my open source project npm Explorer. It uses Google Analytics, which is unfortunately blocked by all three ad blockers you can see at the top right corner of the screen. So in order to begin the setup, first I need to log in to DataUnlocker admin. I can use either the default login and password method or sign in using Google. Here, I will sign in with my Google account. Once you're in, click Add Property. Now I need to enter my domain name, which is npmexplorer.dk. Note that DataUnlocker is domain dependent, which means you need to add different domain names as different properties. By clicking Begin Setup, you will create a temporary property, which will be converted to a real one after you either install the script or add a new DNS record to your domain. On this step, you will select a routine option, which very much depends on whether or not you can access your domain. Because I registered my domain myself and I own it, I have an access to it. Hence, I will continue with the first default option, which is also the easiest one. Now, I am asked to add a new DNS record to my domain. At this point, none of the tutorials will be able to cover all existing domain registers, and this is something you will need to find out yourself with your domain registrar. My domain registrar was freenom.com, a website where I registered my npmexplorer.dk domain. And in this video, I will show a DNS configuration for it, which should be quite similar for any other domain registrars. I will copy a DNS record name and switch to freenom. Now on freenom, I go to Manage Domain for npmexplorer.dk and I need to find something like Manage DNS or Edit DNS records there. Manage freenom DNS sounds like what I am looking for. You should see a very similar user interface for editing DNS records, and you will need to add a new DNS record here. Ensure that the record name, record type, TTL or time to leave, and the record target or the record value are specified exactly as suggested by DataUnlocker. Finally, when I click Save Changes, a new DNS record will be configured and will soon start to resolve. Let's proceed to the next step. Here, you are asked to install the script to your web application or a website. Please note that this script must be copied directly into the HTML code of your web application, as well as this script must be the first script on your page in order to be able to unblock all following scripts on the web application's pages. I'm going to copy this script into my npmexplorer.dk web application, ensuring that it is indeed the first script on the page, and deploy a new version of the web application. At this point, I have deployed a DNS record and a new script, so I am pressing Proceed button. The last step of DataUnlocker setup is the health check. It will run a test against my web application and will tell me what to do next. As you can see, my very first health check has failed, which is expected because of two reasons. First, my web application takes some time to be deployed, which means the script is not there yet. And secondly, the DNS record I created also takes some time to be fully resolved, which usually takes around 10 minutes. I can also click on any failed health check step and DataUnlocker will explain why it fails. In my case, I just need to wait a bit for everything to be deployed and refresh the health check. As you can see now, almost all health check steps are green, which means I almost did it. The DNS record was found and is valid. However, it says that the TLS certificate is not yet ready for my domain. It explains that the certificate should be issued within a couple of minutes. However, just for demonstration, I'm going to refresh the health check once again to show that it still may not be successful. As I mentioned before, the reason for it is just the new DNS record taking time to be available all over the globe. Hence, on this step, you may really need to wait for approximately 10 minutes or a bit more. A few minutes later, I'm coming back to the health check and trying it once again. All green this time. This means DataUnlocker is ready, and I'm going to press Go to Dashboard button. As you can see, the dashboard is empty, and on the top right corner it says DataUnlocker is disabled. I can enable it by pressing on this gear icon. Then toggling DataUnlocker proxy switch and clicking Save. DataUnlocker will apply this change in 10 to 15 seconds. Finally, when I go back to my web application and refresh the page, I will notice that all ad blockers show a higher number of blocked requests, which means that DataUnlocker finally works. If I go to Google Analytics, despite of me having 3 ad blockers installed, I can now see myself visiting my web application. Note that the other active users I see in Google Analytics real-time view are the users from Health Check, because DataUnlocker's Health Check requests your website just like the user does. DataUnlocker is also very configurable. For instance, on a dashboard page, I can see how much traffic was proxied for each third-party service installed in my web application, such as Google Tag Manager and Google Analytics. I can also click on each individual service, which will show me an additional configuration for it. For instance, I can disable a proxy for each particular service, or for GoogleAnalytics.com, I can specify to additionally add a custom dimension to my unblocked hits. Thus, I will be able to analyze how many users of my web application were using ad blockers. DataUnlocker can unblock any third-party service out of the box, and because it works only with blocked requests, it doesn't affect your existing traffic in any way, and you are always safe to install it. However, some third-party services might have a slight difference when being proxied, which DataUnlocker will also warn you about. Thanks for watching, and enjoy using DataUnlocker.